Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about burnishing. Burnishing is probably the step that if you want to make your piece look professional quality, burnishing is the largest leap you can do toward that aim. Doesn't take a whole lot, especially if you're doing it on veg tan. Being that leather is water moldable, burnishing is essentially just a very simplistic version of water molding, because all you're doing is you're taking these rough fibers that are on the edge that you've already beveled, and you're applying friction and pressure and smoothing them all together. So usually, like, you can do it with anything liquid pretty much. You can even do it with water. But most of the time, since we're going to be dyeing everything anyway, I typically just use the leather dye that I'm going to already use, and just do the edges first. All you have to do is apply it along a beveled edge, and then you can take one of these guys called a burnishing wheel. These are cheap little doodads you can buy at Tandy. They're like $3 or $4, and they got a little groove in them that matches up pretty well with about 7 to 10 ounce leather. So you just press it down on that edge and slide it back and forth, and you slowly but surely take this kind of furry edge and you make it this nice shiny slick edge that looks like it would be a lot less uncomfortable on your skin. You can see it's got a little bit of a gleam to it now. But you can actually burnish this thing until it's almost cooked and black, and that way the fibers will be a lot less likely to come back apart over, you know, the course of wear. There's lots of different ways you can go about burnishing, several different styles of burnishing tools. Some of them have multiple grooves, some of them made out of wood, you can find them made out of bone, all kinds of stuff, but honestly the end result for me is pretty much always the same. I can show you some cheats too using a couple of these things. If you step over here, you can check out my impromptu automated burnishing wheel. So if you look at the burnishing wheels, these little plastic ones, they've actually got a little hole in the center of it, which allows you to put this little bolt through it. And so all this is a drill turned sideways, vice down to a bolt hooked to the wheel. So once you hook that to a foot pedal, it spins a lot faster than your poor little elbow can do. It does kind of change the equation of, you know, like I said before, you apply pressure and friction. This makes it so there's a whole lot more friction to, you know, the ratio of pressure. So you know, it takes a little bit of getting a feel for. Yeah, it's a bit noisy, but really quick, saves your elbows, and you can get both hands on it and press into it. So you're not, you know, doing this back and forth motion. There's a more legitimate way of doing it as well, which I've got on the other end of this table over here. This is also a burnishing wheel, but this has got what they usually call a spindle, which means it's got several different size grooves on the same burnishing wheel. This same kind of situation, it's got a whole lot more, it's because of the RPMs, it's got a whole lot more friction applied to it than pressure. Honestly, if you end up putting a bunch of pressure onto it, you kind of bog down the motor. But because it's got all these different sizes, you could do up to like a 25-ounce piece of leather as long as you took multiple passes to bevel it. And you can also, if there's a spot that's not getting smoothed down very well, you can start in the bigger grooves and then step down to each smaller groove, so you're sure to get every single bit of this edge. Voila, same general idea as every other version, but just whatever your hands like to do more and what kind of material or machine investment you're willing to make. So another trick to burnishing, especially if you've got some like really dry leather, or you're trying to burnish something that's not veg tan, so it's kind of resistant, the fibers don't really want to be adjusted at all. Like if you're doing it on latigo or something that's already been dyed, so it's really dried out. There are a bunch of different kinds of burnishing compounds you can use. Gum tragacanth is the one that I usually use. There's one called toconol. There's lots of different things you can put on there, but basically they're semi-lubricants, semi-solvents that soften up those fibers and allow you to compress them together. So this is a piece of pre-dyed veg tan, which means it's really dry. If I were to just put dye on there and try to slick it, it would get some effect, but it wouldn't really be smooth and pliable the way I like it. So gum tragacanth, it kind of smells like turpentine, but it's this kind of gelatin type stuff that you can apply on the edge, and it dries clear, so you don't have to worry about the fact that, you know, you're getting it on your already dyed piece. But you want to make sure you get the front and the back. If you let it sit on there just a little while, like 30 seconds or so, it kind of softens up those fibers and begins to dissolve them just a touch. Then once you put the friction on there, it acts as kind of almost like a lubricant for sliding it back and forth smoothly. And then the substance itself kind of dries. It's not exactly a clear coat, but when you dry it out, it almost has like this kind of plasticized edge to it. So you're kind of filling in any of the areas that didn't quite get slicked all the way down. So it gives you this real smooth finish as well. But anything that's being stubborn, that's gum tragacanth is usually what I resort to. And even if you've got something that's like a bison leather or something that's super pliable and furry like. So I hope this was helpful. Like I was saying, you know, if you're trying to get this nice, clean, polished, professional look, burnishing the edges really goes a long way, and especially if you're making things that you're going to be wearing on your body. You know, we make a lot of like bra tops and corsets and that kind of stuff that people wear directly on their skin. And if you've got a square cut edge, or even if you've beveled it and then dyed it, those fibers can be kind of stiff and pokey any way you look at it. So this is a great benefit all around. I hope this was helpful for you. If you'd like to hear more about what we do in the leather crafting world, like and subscribe. We'll be doing more videos like this one, and hopefully we'll catch you for the next one.